Hi guys, it's Medzi from the Medzi Trading Show, and today I'm going to talk about the day trading lifestyle. So when it comes to the day trading lifestyle, I think there are a few important variables that you should keep in mind. And because day trading is a certain type of activity that requires a lot of discipline, understanding your own psychology, and following routine, I made a list of a few things here that I think could potentially help you. So let me go over those things. And again, before I go over them, I just wanted to let you know that I don't think there is one area that is more important than another. I think that we all have strengths and weaknesses in certain area. You clearly cannot be strong at everything, but if you find that there's a certain aspect here that appeals to you, you can definitely improve on it. Or if you think it's lacking, you can definitely bring it into your day trading lifestyle. So the first thing that I wrote about is the outside discipline. Let me explain that. So I really believe that if you don't have any experience in any area that required very strict discipline, and discipline can come in the form of being an athlete or being in the army or being an academic or an engineer that dealt with very big projects that required a lot of time and dedication, attention to details, and most importantly, going through very difficult times and making very difficult decisions sometimes and encountering challenges. The challenges are also, psychological challenges because it's decision making, but more than anything, it was an habitual behavior in something. So if you bring that into day trading, I believe that it could potentially help you. If you decide to develop your discipline just in the area of trading and in trading itself, I'm not saying it's impossible. Statistically, I'm sure that some people will do it, but I would say that it's very, very challenging. So one of the things that you can do is engage in sports. And I'm not saying you should turn into an athlete, but do something that requires effort. And I believe also, of course, physical activity always helps. Your lifestyle is better, you feel better, but essentially it's also something that I think will drip into the day trading lifestyle and would help you there as well. Other things that you can do, for example, as far as discipline, is reading, right? So part of your advancement or your growth comes for your mind, comes from reading, listening to other people, developing your own perspective, but at the same time listening to other perspectives, and you can build good ideas out of that. So I hope that that would help you. And again, you can choose whatever area you wish. You can maybe do mountain climbing. I don't know what it is, but something that requires some sort of a challenge, which is outside of trading, and I believe it would help you. Consider doing outside activities. Now, outside activities don't always mean that it's something that necessarily helps you in trading, but something that takes you away a little bit from the markets, lets your mind relax. Maybe you like fishing, maybe you like painting, whatever makes you relax outside the market. And the reason that I mentioned this outside activities, it's because there's too many people out there who think they want to be traders, but really what they are just people who are fascinated with the markets, right? They think it's all about charts and analyzing and, listening to CNBC all day and Fox Business News and CNN News and, finding all the fundamentals. But it's not, it's a totally different type of lifestyle. And part of that lifestyle is really doing other things and other activities that take you away from it so you don't get distracted by the ongoing noise that affects you. So those are things that I think are important, your outside activities. Consider who is influencing you, right? So consider that every person would love to think that is an independent decision maker, that all the decisions that he or she makes are their own. but I find that that's not true. This is why advertising works, right? Because they affect us, right? I mean, this is why ads chase us. We buy products, we think, we buy half the stuff we buy we don't need, and that's because we're impulsive, creatures. But the point is that there's other things that affect you as a consumer, and obviously as a trader, because once you become a trader, you are drawn to those areas of reading and being influenced by others. So let's examine some of them. One of them is forums, right? So the question, I put a question mark beside forums, is because in a forum, a public forum or a trading forum, you don't know who is a real trader, who's a paper trader, who's been trading for a long time, a short time. And for a beginner, sometimes it's hard to distinguish between the two. And again, there could be a person there that's been at it for 5 years and never traded, and he's just fascinated with the markets and loves to write about it and loves to talk about it. But in reality, maybe they don't have practical solutions to the challenges that day trading has versus people that do have practical solutions. So sometimes it's hard, and especially for beginners, it's really hard to distinguish who they should listen to or not. There are blogs. I read blogs. I enjoy blogs. I think thank God there's a lot of intelligent people there that share information, not necessarily for profit. They just love to write and share, and they enjoy it, and they're followers, and they interact with them. There's nothing wrong with somebody who charges for it, of course. I'm all for it. But, again, just make sure that the people that you follow have real practical, ideas that could help you. Books, love books. Again, there's a lot of smart people out there that write books. The library behind me is very extensive. I read all the time, so that definitely would help you. And again, I try to read people who have practical experience, right? I don't find some unknown author anybody could be good, and any knowledge helps. But clearly we don't have all the time in the world. So when you read a book, you want to know it's coming from somebody who has practical experience in any field, right? There's just too much theory out there that people are fascinated with. There's even academics that are just fascinated with all kinds of stuff and writing about it. And while it's very interesting, does it help you? I don't know. I find that, I'm at this point in my life, I enjoy more practical solutions than just listening to theories. And then there's your environment. Your environment could be your spouse. He or she may enjoy what you do, or supportive or not supportive. That will influence you. If you talk to your neighbors all the time and about trading, well, listen, you want to be influenced by them. You tell them the Nasdaq is high, and he tells you, well, I think it's overbought, because that's the main reaction to anything that is high. Well, if you want to listen to that, okay, well, look, it's your right. But I suggest to be very, very discreet about what you do in your decision making, because you don't want others, to influence you. The other thing that I want to talk about is your schedule and the times that you trade. So you don't have to be glued to the screen all the time. In fact, there's a certain fatigue associated with trading. So if you find that maybe 2 hours throughout the day are enough, or 3 hours, it's absolutely fine. You might find that you're more profitable trader at lunchtime, or in the morning, or towards the close, as long as the markets are liquid and you find that you can trade, absolutely, it's fine. Part of the trading lifestyle is not being obsessed and just being glued to the screen all day. There's nothing wrong with being glued to the screen all day, as long as you're a good decision maker throughout that day, right? Some people are, some people aren't. So your schedule, again, build something that fits you. They're saying that trading is a lonely profession, and it should be a lonely profession. It should be, because one style does not fit another. Everybody's born with a different risk tolerance. Everybody has a different outlook. You show 5 traders, the same charts, and they'll give you 7 opinions. So again, stick to what works for you best. Don't always look for others to make a decision for you. There's nothing wrong with asking, hey, when do you trade? Another trader, if you found, right? but there's something wrong with going to a public forum and asking, when do you think it's the best time to trade? Right? Because you're going to get gazillion answers, and you don't know if they're coming from people who are real or not real. Okay? So just consider that. And when I mean real or not real, they're all real people. They're not bots. But again, I'm just talking about their experience. Day trading lifestyle research. Okay, so now, here are a few things that I think you should research, right? So the first thing you research is the markets, right? So this is where you work on your method. This is where you work on improving your method, backtesting it, using replay or any of those mechanisms that are available at your disposal in order to research the market and improve your method. And if your method stops working, or if you want to improve it, or maybe you have to change a certain variables on it, such as the risk management or the profit taking, then this is what you do. And it's important to dedicate time, to market behavior. The second thing is your behavior. So what you research is really your behavior around the markets, right? So how do you react to things? Do you become angry when you lose? Do you get desperate sometimes? Do you go all in after a loss? Do you just lose it? So researching and writing your behavior during the time that you trade is important, because it gives you, again, an insight into your personality that you might have never seen before, right? When you get excited, when you don't get excited, maybe you go through fear of missing out all the time. Maybe you're trying to catch bottoms and you just can't stop yourself, and it leads to a mistake. So over time, you see in what really affects your decision making, and that's really important. The third thing is, let me talk actually before performance. I want to talk about pre-market preparation, and I'm going to go back to performance. So pre-market preparation also should be a research, because what you want to do is you don't want to come in the morning, open the screen, and just be impulsive. Oh, it's too high, I'm going to short it. Oh, it's so low, it's dropping, I'm going to buy it. That's not a way to behave. They're just impulsive, and it turns your trading into gambling, right? Then at that point you gamble. So what you want to do is the night before or the hours before you trade, whenever you have time, preparing yourself for the next day, saying, if this is going to happen, this is what I'm going to do. If those levels are hit, this is what I'm going to do. So essentially when it happens, you either act on it or not. And again, it goes back to the research of your behavior. Were you scared even though you had the right levels? And over time, if you see you're picking the right levels even though you were scared 10 times, you'll see, the results could have been better if I did act on it, or maybe the results would not have been better. So again, pre-market preparation, knowing what you're going to do the next day, or the next trading session, I should say, will give you, at least I believe, could prevent potentially some impulsive behavior. Okay, let's talk about performance. So part of your research of performance is not just to say, I'm up money or down money. Part of performance is really analyzing when you're up money. For example, what times, the quantity of future contracts that you used to be profitable. So you may find that when you trade smaller size, you stay in the markets longer, you perform better. When you trade larger size, it doesn't affect you that way. Or it could be vice versa. It could be that when you trade infrequently, but with larger size of future contracts, it gives you better results, better positive expectancy. So performance, again, is just analyzing when do you perform to the best of your ability. And looking at the bottom line, like I said, does not tell the whole picture. So analyzing every transaction that you do, quantities that you do, hours that you trade. You might have experienced a certain fatigue throughout the day, right? So going back to the times, the schedule, right? Times that you trade. Now you're actually looking at this and you're saying, you know what? The times that I trade, maybe I'm trading too many hours, or I should have continued because I was fine. I should give myself 2 more hours, because I still did well, right? So that's really important. Another thing in performance is also understanding how you react psychologically to wins and losses. So when you win, for example, it could be just as overwhelming as a loss. Many times when traders win, when they have a great trading day or they have a great month, those are the times that they could actually be the most susceptible to giving it back and incurring, even not only going back to the point where they started, but losing further than that. And again, sometimes winning, gets overwhelming. So those are the times you evaluate your performance, and you see, again, when do you perform better. The next thing is nutrition. What do you eat when you trade? So if you have cream and sugar in the morning, sugar has those spikes and then it drops. Maybe you shouldn't have foods with sugar. I myself, I like to eat protein in the morning. And then you saw also nutrition when you don't trade. So, you can finish the day trading session, grab a bag of Doritos, make yourself tired, go to sleep, and you don't have the best sleep. And, again, you have fatigue because of your nutrition. And it's important to also observe that and, and kind of, it's important to eat healthy. Doesn't matter if you trade or not, but clearly I find that those things definitely affect decision making. They don't only affect trading. Trading is the business of decision making, and those things could definitely affect it. Your nutrition. Vacation. Can't tell you how important it is. Just like you have short outside activities, outside the market, vacation, it's just a little bit prolonged. Go somewhere. You don't have to go to exotic places. Take your loved one, drive somewhere, just far away from your house, stay somewhere else, be in a different environment, relax, don't look at the markets, just kind of, look at other things, read the book you always wanted to read, whatever is necessary, right? So that's also important, to give your mind a break. And sometimes, again, I just want to tell you that, people always talk about the stress of when they lose, because obviously, in day trading, there could be days or substantial, days in sequence or weeks in sequence that you lose money, and it's very stressful. I get it. But at the same time, beginners get overwhelmed when they make money, right? People are more experienced when they lose and they win. At least in my opinion and in my experience, people will be doing it for a very, very long time. They look at the bigger picture and they trust themselves as far as their performance, and they understand. They don't look at every day as a career beginner or a career ender, right? So such career ender, right? So they're ending their career, right? So not every day is just another day. So they look at larger time frames. So in any case, take your vacations, enjoy them. The last thing I want to talk about is income outside of trading. So I hear, well, it's always been the case, I think, for the last decade. I want to quit my job. I want to sell my business. I want to get rid of everything, and I just want to do day trading, right? So here's my perspective on it. I think that probably for 90% of the population, it is absolutely important to work and earn money. And day trading as a lifestyle should be something that they enjoy along with it. Because I believe that when you don't, I should finish what my thought. So I believe that when you are working and you have income coming in, your decision making, in my personal opinion, would be better, right? So you don't trade under the same psychological pressure that you trade when you have no income coming in, right? It's 10 times harder, and I understand that pressure. So I want people to have a good lifestyle, right? And again, not necessarily trading to take over. Now, if it becomes that you've grew your account to a size that is, I would say, enough that in terms of a realistic return could substantially, cover, your mortgage or your rent, food, your kids' college, or anything else which is essential in your life, then you can say, okay, I can give it a try. Even then it's hard, but nevertheless, at least you have many years of experience. So if somebody was a prop trader, they could go into trading their own account. That's one thing. If somebody was a trader in a bank, if somebody traded part-time for 5 years and he grew his account, and now trading has got to a point that he has to dedicate a lot of time to it, and if it's not, then it's just not going to work well for him. Then and at the same time he has to complete all the other projects. So those are the times that you should consider. But again, it should come after a very, very long time. So for majority of people, I always advise, have income coming in, use risk capital. You have the ability today that didn't exist before. You have the micros, right? You have smaller contracts now. I'm not downplaying the risk in futures trading. Futures trading is very risky. There's a substantial risk of loss in futures trading. But the but the micros are smaller contracts, so you don't take as much leverage, and the point value is smaller. Again, they could have very violent swings, and again, you have to match it to your own risk capital and what it means for you. But from a perspective just of size, I'm just talking about pure notional size as compared to something like E-mini that's $50 a point versus micro that it's 1/10 of it, right, which is $5 a point. Or you look at the NASDAQ, which is $20 a point versus micro, which is $2 a point. So you can train yourself and get to where you want to be over time and slowly, right? Don't be in a rush. Nobody's chasing you. Everybody evolves as a trader over different time frames. Some people can get it after 3 months. Again, statistically, I'm just saying it. I don't think you can after 3 months, but maybe there's other people who are statistician, used to numbers, and they don't treat it as trading, but they treat it more of a game of numbers. For them, it could be potentially easier. At the same time, there could be people that it took them 2 years, 5 years. And I know people who've been doing this also for 10 years and they got better after 10 years. So again, you want to have a long-term perspective, and you want to do what's right within your talent and within your skills, and everything you do is fine. Like I said, it's an individual choice and nobody's chasing you. It's your own choice, to trade when you want to trade, when you don't want to trade, what kind of lifestyle you want to be associated with trading. So on that note, I'm going to wish you a great week. I wish you a phenomenal weekend. Please like this video. Please join us, for subscribe to this channel. Join us on future, videos that I try to do my best to educate you absolutely free of charge. If you're looking for a broker, please call us at Optimus Futures. And if you want to give me your thoughts and you want to see a response from me or any trading related question, please go to community.optimusfutures.com and I'll try to address any question you have about trading and specifically futures trading, what we do. So on that note, again, thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next video.